Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to Relax Time Radio. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, it's Friday the 17th of April. It's Mon and I doing our show. Life hacks that's the general theme of our show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Life hacks.
I was
How you
just
doing,
stunned about the date. I'm like,
I
what's
know.
April
Wow,
17th,
I know.
right?
Yeah. Dates are meaningless. Days are meaningless. I really don't know. All I know is we're recording this on Thursday. If I'm seeing you, it's Thursday because that's when we do our
True.
pre-recorded. So, we're here for another pre-recorded show. It is Relax Time Radio. We're still here with you, broadcasting on Radio Thailand, Chiang Mai 93.25 FM.
That's right.
So, if you're listening on the radio, we'll be playing music and stuff like that, as usual, and opening up the show with Beabadoobee as usual. If you're watching this video, you'll just see our conversation. And what we'll do with the music is, like we did last week, like I've been doing for other shows as well, we'll just post the YouTube playlist underneath in the description of the video and underneath our Facebook post, down there. So you can listen to the music uninterrupted by our conversation. And also the subject of our conversation today, we'll maybe post a few links about that if you want to find out more about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to be talking about today?
So we were thinking about a great topic, and we were torn about between conspiracy therapy, not therapies.
Hey, that's a good one. I like that. Conspiracy therapies. That's excellent. We should do that. Okay. We should do that.
I'm definitely locked down alone for too long now. Okay, so conspiracy theories and connection to new normal, and we're going with connection to new normal. So we're going to talk about how we can be more connected with each other, although we are maybe physically still apart.
If we did the conspiracy theory show, we'd probably get like more comments than we've ever had before, ever. But it also might end up being our last show ever as well. So
also maybe in this country, you never know.
Yeah, so connection in a new norm. Mm-hmm. And with a particular focus. I mean, last week we did like exploring the world 3D, and that sort of fits into this. But what we wanted to look at is like just some of the ways people have been doing their work, communicating with each other, playing around, having fun. Now that we're all experiencing social or physical distancing. Right. So like it's the social distancing phrase is an unfortunate one because we still want to be social even though we're physically separate. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at maybe if we split it up into sections, maybe we could split it up into like tools for work, tools for kind of having fun, playing around, and then like let's say
school and education.
School and education, and also maybe just like general communication tools. Where should we start?
Let's start with the work tools. I think that's the easiest also.
Yeah, we can start with that because for example we're using Zoom right now to record this. The world's gone crazy for Zoom lately.
They had to restrict their access a little bit too.
Well, they set up like they had to make it more secure, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, but they also, so what they've done actually is they throttled, if you can say that, their speed. If you use it with, in different countries it's a little bit different, but if you use it with more than 3 or 6 people, you can't use necessarily HD anymore. It's going to go down to 720 pixels, for example.
That makes
which is
sense,
still fine, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, I think the use has gone up from 10 to 200 million. I don't want to give absolute wrong numbers, but
I've seen some crazy screens. Yeah, and it's amazing like how many people are using it. Like Mon and I are doing it one-to-one, and then I've seen people doing these huge, like, big organizations, major news organizations or TV companies using it, with their people from home and interviewing experts online. And and you can see from people's faces, when they do the first episode, they're like learning how it works. And then like me and Mon's been doing this for a while, so she knows, but like me, at first you're kind of unsure about how it works, and then you can see by the second and third episode people get more comfortable. They know how it works one at a time, and it's kind of, you have to have a little bit of discipline about it.
Yeah.
So
what I love
Zoom
most about it, though, is that I've seen screenshots online where, for example, I loved it so much. A manager, she was holding a meeting with like 10 different people. And so remember that we had in one of our earlier episodes these background images that we used during our music times. So she apparently, she put in some kind of filter that made her look like a potato, and she couldn't turn it off anymore. But instead of like changing it, she was like just a super lady boss, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna be a potato for the whole meeting then. So she was a potato.
I think I saw something else like that. I did see something else like that, right?
And I just love that, like people are just gonna have to be flexible now, and maybe also, turn off their seriousness a little bit.
Yeah. I just know, like, okay, so maybe we can like just describe for people that don't know Zoom and haven't like used it. Basically, it's basically like using something like Messenger. In Facebook Messenger, you can also do multi-person video calls. The difference with Zoom is that you can record them.
Right.
That's amazing. I mean, there are other differences. You can like do things like share your screen, so you can share what's going on your computer screen apart from the conversation video. You can share audio and sort of your actual laptop screen or something. And also, what they say makes it special. It works on everything. So it works on iPhones, and it works on Android, and it works on any computer. It works everywhere. So, like for example, today I'm guessing, Mon, that you're on your computer. I'm on my iPad today for the first time, which I've actually just noticed that when I'm on the iPad, I don't see the recording thing, so I can't tell that we're recording right now. Normally, when I'm on the computer, I can see that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe you have to tap the screen.
Normally let me just try that. No.
No?
So that's interesting. I can't actually tell that we're recording. Anyway,
do you not even have the red spot somewhere sitting?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, so with Zoom, it's also really incredible to because depending if you have like the free version or the paid version, but you can add a lot of people. So with the free version, you can have 40-minute free meetings with as many people as you want, right? And then obviously you can do a lot of different things, but as you said, you can record it. And for right now, just so for everyone to know, I would always recommend to record it on your device. You can also record it onto their cloud, but because so many people use it right now, I wouldn't recommend doing it because the processing times take so long for the video to upload.
Yeah, and also I think that's only in the paid version as well. For the free version, I don't think you can use that, right?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Just to be fair to other competitors, Zoom is far from the only program. There are others like but they're not always. They don't always have a free option. Like there's Microsoft Teams, but it's not. I don't think they have a free option for that. Google has a Hangouts or Google Meeting. You can actually, with Skype, you can do most of what Zoom does as well, and you probably can do it for free, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a new
so there are other apps. There are other programs.
Right. There is a new one in the house that I really wanted to share, but I need to find the name again. So as soon as I find it, I'll let you know. And so, definitely. I would recommend really if you would wanna just hang out, like for example with this you can do with your families. I've also seen like yoga classes being held online, or free meditation, group meditations, or whatever it is. So Zoom, you can really do anything with it.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that as well. Online yoga. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been really, really cool. I'm trying to find this.
One thing I wanted to mention is like that
Yeah.
I'm not doing, unfortunately, is that when you if we wanted to sound a bit more professional, a bit more like we were in the studio, like ideally we should have proper microphones. But it makes it a little bit more complicated. You have to if you're going to have a proper microphone, you usually need some kind of sound adapter for your computer, or you can also get one for an iPhone or something. I don't know how we sound right now, but with this, with these sort of like earphone microphones, the quality is probably not super anyway. I mean, I'm a musician. I'm a kind of audiophile, so
yeah, I usually use my podcast microphone, but today I had to charge the laptop longer, so that was not an option. Only got one plug-in with this laptop.
Okay, so like other tools that I've seen people using. Now, I have a lot of musician friends. I'm friends with some of the guys in famous Thai pop band ETC, and I saw them trying to record songs live on, and at first I saw them working it out. So at first they were maybe using Zoom, and the quality wasn't great, and there were lags, because it's like 6 people all trying to do it together. And then there are basically for musicians, there are other tools. Most of them are probably paid, but there are some specialist tools out there that allow musicians to record in higher quality, musical fidelity quality, but to live record amongst each other. So they work in, there are softwares and tools out there that musicians can use to literally sort of 6 people, 6 different homes, and they can all sort of play together. And there would be
That's cool.
there would be what you call latencies, but because these there's a timestamp. This is getting a bit technical, but they're timestamped. So basically, when the software puts it all back together again, any sort of like latencies are cancelled out.
And what's the name?
Sorry.
What's the name of the software?
Well, there's a few. There's a few. Like one's called Jam Kazam. There's another one called I think Spotify own one called Soundtrap.
Oh,
sorry.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to recommend any because I didn't see any. Like, there probably is. There's always a free one somewhere. Yeah,
right.
Jamtaba. So there's one called there's a free open source one called Jamtaba, and another one called BandLab. Yeah, which is also free. So there's a bunch of free ones. We'll post some links. So if you want to find out more about this, where the free ones are, we'll post some links over here.
I love that.
Yes, because originally I saw a lot of musicians doing just Facebook live streams, but then the quality might not always be good. In the end, if you wanna have the quality be high, you have to sort of, and you end up having to boost the hardware, which means you get better microphones and better equipment, and also sometimes you need to get better software, which stuff that can record in high quality. Yeah. Zoom is, I would say, in my opinion, Zoom is better for video than it is for audio. The audio quality, I'm not, as a musician or someone who likes sound quality, I'm not totally happy with it.
Right.
And, yeah.
I know. I can see that every week. But I think for things like recording any type of like video conferences, or if you're working with it like in meetings, whatever, it's totally fine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It was designed for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
For mainly voice communication. For that, it's definitely fine. Yeah.
There's also a really, really cool tool which I love, that has also a free version. That's really cool for podcasts, by the way, because you can record. So this is Zoom works on voice over IP, right? And the tool that I mean is called Zencaster, and it's
Yeah,
also
I heard about that.
voice over IP, but it records local on both of the devices. So that means if your internet, like mine yesterday night when we had finally monsoon rain, is cracking up, and basically the internet would just stop working, then Zoom would stop working and recording. But with Zencaster, it keeps recording on both sides, and afterwards it's automatically mixing together.
Right.
And uploading, and it's really cool. And the sound, you would love the sound quality. It's actually really good.
Yeah. I actually was, so this morning we were having a discussion with some of the other hosts of Relaxed Time Radio, and I was saying I hadn't tested it yet, but I know on my lap, because on an iPhone it would be harder, although maybe not impossible, but on a computer you can have multiple programs running, and so in actual fact we could actually do that even using Zoom. It just wouldn't be automatic. So I could record. I could easily record the audio separately using a different program that would record high quality audio, and put it together. It would just be more work, if you see what I mean. But to have something like Zencaster, maybe I'm assuming there would be like some automation in how that was done. So yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to check that out. Another one that I noticed, a podcast tool that people were using, especially for video podcasts, was Twitch. I don't know if you've ever looked into that.
I haven't, but I heard of it.
So a lot of people use this website or app called Twitch to do sort of live video chatting podcast stuff. I haven't tested it, so I'm not exactly sure how it's okay. I guess one way that it would be different from Zoom is that it's fundamentally designed to live stream. So so imagine you have a Zoom that, so we're talking to each other on Zoom right now. You have something like a Zoom maybe that instead of just recording it on our computers, live streams it at the same time. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on with. Yeah. That's my attempt to understand Twitch, which I haven't
found
used.
Finally the other video conferencing and meeting platform, and it's called 8x8, so 8x8.vc, and it's basically a new competitor in the game, and it has really great features, and so far it's been also from the quality a really good and very stable platform to be used. And I think they also have a free version.
Maybe I'll test that out. Yeah. One of the things that I was going to mention, I don't know if you'd call it, it's hard to say whether it falls under work, but in actual fact, some people make a good living out of playing games and live streaming them to YouTube, and Twitch also gets used a lot for this. And it's because basically they build up a lot of followers. I mean, it's huge already. It's been going on for ages. But I actually was, what I specifically wanted to talk about was, lately I heard about people who, stuck inside in coronavirus, said they just felt like going out for a walk or exploring in nature. And because they couldn't, they went into some of these games which have like beautiful virtual scenery and just wandered about instead of playing the game, instead of like going around inside the game, killing everything in sight, which is the sort of objective of the game. Normally you could, in many of the games, you don't have to, if you don't want to, you can just like wander around in the scenery, go for a walk. And people are even like live streaming their walks in a game environment and just commentating on it on Twitch or YouTube.
I love it.
It's crazy.
Amazing.
And that's people's main source of, that's some people's main source of income.
Why not? I mean, I think another few tools that people could be really helpful is some tools where people can share notes and have maybe conversations. So there's one tool that a lot of people use, or a lot of companies use. It's called Slack.
Yep.
So Slack is basically like a messenger chat kind of tool, but you can create like different, basically like chat rooms, which is called channels there. But it has really great integrations if people are going to geek out on it. So you can integrate, for example, with a project management tool like Trello or Asana. And then if someone mentions, oh, you got to do this by next week, Thursday, you can automatically, just from the message, have like a keyboard shortcut and automatically basically put it as a task into this project management tool. So if you really want to geek out and if you really need to start to work all the time online, it's really a great tool. And they also have a free, like you can get different, it depends how many people you get in one work team basically, but there's definitely a free version too. And it's really helpful to not lose track.
Yeah, no, a lot of the app developers, web developers, remote workers that I know, that's their main, collaborative tool, or one of their main collaborative tools, Slack.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, it combines, multi channel communication, chat, video, audio, whatever, with sort of document, work management, project management tools, and pretty much anything that you might need to organize together as a company, team, collaborative thing.
Yeah.
So
and the good thing is you can separate the chats within your team from the chats with your clients, so they don't have to read what you're talking behind the scenes, basically.
That's very important.
Yes.
Super important. Okay. Let me see. What else
Should we
was
play
there?
a bit music?
Well, yeah. Let's. Okay. So
for the radio.
For the radio people, imagine we're playing a bit of music, and in actual fact, we
keep talking about the fun part now.
Yeah, we'll talk about the fun part now. So, how are people having fun?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of, I mean, this has been going on for a while, but like, because even Facebook has games that you have people are always, I never ever join, but people are always sending me an invite to play a game with them on Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm not criticizing, it's just I don't play video games. I used to when I was a kid. Just don't do it anymore. I plugged
this. No one can send me an invitation.
Oh yeah, I think I did as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one app that it's kind of, so it has been already popular before the lockdown, but because people getting so bored now, they really hit it off on this app. But it's also recently got a safety kind of concern from the world, and then people are just like, whatever, like what else is going to happen? So the app is called TikTok.
And yeah, I saw that.
It's like the video Instagram. So on Instagram you have photos, but on TikTok you have these like, I'm not on TikTok, but all my
friends. They're videos that loop. They're videos that like loop, really short videos that loop.
I think they're like 10 seconds or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's growing. I know there was this like security concern because it's a Chinese company, but it doesn't seem to have stopped it. I see more and more people using it.
I'm sure you can't get the virus through the app. That's for sure.
Yeah. Not that virus anyway.
No.
Anyway, so I wouldn't know anything about the security concerns. All I know is I see on Twitter and various places people's TikTok videos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty light. People are just using it to kind of make jokes or viral kind of content.
I think I just see them a lot because they are now posting these videos also on their Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, okay, right. You don't need to come over here and post your TikTok videos on Instagram. It's all right. You're gonna be all right. I promise you.
Well, that's how it's working now. That people are using their TikTok for everywhere.
Yeah, I know. It's just hilarious, I think. But I also have to say that if I ever in the next 15 lives that I'm gonna have would ever decide to have a kid, I would never ever let them on TikTok, because what I've been told what type of other things you can see there, I'm like, oh, hell no.
Conservative Mon. I didn't think I was going to see that. You surprised me there.
It's
It's the motherly instinct. Motherly instinct is coming out.
no, but I don't need them to see all the tiny little
Okay.
best pieces or whatever, you know, like no.
Okay, so what I'm going to say next is will be strange to people who already listen to podcasts, but I'm still surprised. Podcasts for me, like as far as I'm concerned, seem to be this huge thing in the world. But I keep talking to people all the time who've still never heard or understand what podcasts are.
Yeah.
So
only 17% of people online actually listen to podcasts.
So that would explain it. Still, a lot of people are listening, and it's growing really fast. I mean, the quickest way for me to explain what podcasts are would be just to say it's basically a modern version of radio. It's a sort of platform-free version of radio. So you know, the content creators more or less own their own content. You know, if like for example, if you're making a show for the BBC or something like that, BBC owns the content, you don't. With a podcast, BBC Radio owns the content, you don't. Whereas with a podcast, Mon has a podcast, I do a podcast. If we make a show, we could put it anywhere on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. It's on all of those places, but Spotify don't own it. It doesn't make any money anyway.
Wait for it.
Some people do. I know some people do, but you get the idea. It's sort of creator-owned content, sort of audio content. You can listen to it at any time. People put out regular shows. There's a lot of you know, some of the most famous podcasts tend to be, you know, by those famous radio NPR, you know, in America, BBC. But there are big outsiders. You know, Joe Rogan's bigger than anyone, and he's a total independent. So
I think if I would have to explain it, then I mean there are a lot of different genres now in podcasts as well. You have, for example, the podcasts that are reading crime stories, that are reading novels, whatever, like short stories or whatever. Then you have what you said, just like Joe Rogan is more of an like I would say like an interview based. I would even say it's more like a experience, because he calls it even the Joe Rogan experience. With him, it's really like a exploration of topics. I wouldn't even say it's interview based really for him. But then there are interviews, and there are even music podcasts where you really go deep into music, you know. So for me, for example, I would say it's more like a story-based podcast. I do have guests on the show and interview them, but it's not really interview as like, here's a question, can you answer? It's also more we explore the stories and everything of the people.
Right. Yeah, you have like I guess you have a specific purpose with each guest, whereas someone like Joe Rogan, he's inviting the most interesting people on, and because he's a big name, he can get really, really interesting people on.
That's right.
But the conversation is really freeform, and he admitted that obviously he has great skill, because he admitted he doesn't have any pre-prepared questions at all.
Yeah.
He's literally winging it, but he's, you know.
I do the same.
Getting by.
But I must say, I don't want to sound like I have it down, but I must say it's a real skill to find question and be able in a conversation to dig into things that have a great outcome, you know. So it's not easy. Not everyone, I think, can have a format like this. Yeah.
So our topic this week was sort of like, you know, technology tools, apps for doing things. And so the reason why we bring podcasts into it is that in actual fact, people have been using some of the apps we're talking about. You know, nowadays people are using Zoom to record their podcasts. Although, as I said, the audio is a bit of a problem. So in actual fact, for example, you know, me and my friend LJ, we were doing a podcast before coronavirus. We were recording it in a decent, really good recording studio with a great sound engineer setting everything up. and because we wanted to have great audio quality. And now we're recording it from home. I'm letting the side down because my friend LJ, he has a great microphone. I don't, but I did find like a way to, what we were just talking about. So I independently record the audio on my side and we put it together afterwards. So I'm able to record a decent audio file by doing that, and plugging, putting them together afterwards into one thing. Yeah. So and on the video side, in actual fact, a lot of people are using Twitch. I think Zencaster as well to do their video podcasts. Other people
right.
use.
Zencaster doesn't have video, but they have the audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But there is
I forget
Anchor, for example. Do you know Anchor.fm?
No.
So Anchor, for example, is really great. You can literally start a podcast within 5 minutes. So basically, all you got to do is talk, and that's it. You can have a podcast set up within literally 5 minutes if you would want to. You don't have to podcast it, but you can record on the app there and everything. Not that it sounds, obviously, like it's more like a hobby type of thing, I would say. But they would even set it up for you and create your little mini stories and whatever you record, your mini episodes into podcast series and whatever. So if you don't know if you want to go all pro into podcasting and you just want to try it out, then Anchor.fm is a really great way to start.
Yeah, just like from my experience, well, and I can definitely say, if podcasts are really just audio, but then a lot of the people who are doing video podcasts, like who are producing video as well, like Joe Rogan, they basically have a video version of their podcast on YouTube or somewhere else.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, strictly speaking, if you were to go to any of the specifically podcast apps, none of them have video.
That's
so
right.
in theory, or in what do you call it, by the rule book, podcasts are audio purely, but a lot of people produce video as well. Now, audio only is much easier to control. Video, to do it really well, you end up needing to do it really well. You need multiple cameras. Like Joe Rogan would be using 3 different cameras. A lot of the people's podcasts that I see, multiple cameras.
Yeah.
And it's more complicated to do video for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what else can we do for fun?
What else can we do? Well, one of the things I saw from the UK, and I know it's not only a UK thing, they do them in Chiang Mai, is pub quizzes. Pub quizzes, people really love their pub quizzes, and people have been taking them online. now that people can't go out. Now, how are they doing this? Let me just find that out for you. But I've seen that lots of people now are doing online pub quizzes. I tell you what, I'll come back to you on that in a second, and I'll tell you in a second. Because it's disappeared.
What's a pub quiz in your definition?
Well, pub quiz is just a lot of people go around to the pub.
Oh, a pub. Oh, okay.
Pub quiz,
Yes,
pub
quiz. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I got something. Yeah.
No. Yeah, exactly. So everybody goes to the pub, and there's a quiz master who's usually the owner of the bar. Usually, not always, but often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fun. I've done them in Berlin. They were really funny.
So you could do one. You could do one on Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I've got too many browser tabs open. Unfortunately, I had it open, but now I can't find it. Isn't that terrible?
So until you find it, I'm going to talk about something else. I think everyone knows the wonderful, beautiful, really great, engaged card game, Cards Against Humanity. And they have now released a version online that you can play. And I think the online version with a specific set of cards is free. And basically, I haven't. So my friends invited us to do that, but what you're gonna do is like you go onto their platform and you get like the cards played out or whatever, but you do it on Zoom or whatever, wherever you
Yeah.
want to do video conferencing or whatever.
Yeah.
But it I watched my friends play a little bit and it was super fun to see them. So the next time they're gonna be playing, I definitely want to be joining them.
Okay, I found my tab. So
Good.
anyway, there's nothing special in it. It's really just the things that we've been talking about. So basically, different people have been using Skype. You could use
Yeah.
Skype, which is, as I said, is pretty similar to Zoom. People are using Google Hangouts, very similar to Zoom. And I don't see why you couldn't do it using Facebook Messenger. Although you maybe would be you can't do a screen share. But depending on how you run your pub quiz, you could still do it on something like Facebook Messenger.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Love
I
it.
don't know. I've never tried to do multi-person WhatsApp call, but probably I'm not sure if I remember. Probably you can something like that as well. Anyway, so any app that you had where you can get multiple people to join, like Zoom, you can play games basically. Yeah. All right. What else has been going on?
What
Well,
about yeah, you go.
no, I ran out actually.
What about education?
Okay, education. All right. So I guess it's part 3. Yeah. So children in countries around the world, probably not all, but most countries around the world, schools are closed right now, and parents are either homeschooling or in some countries teachers have set up like online learning.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of homeschooling going on and online learning, and there's no new technology to add. Everybody's using the same stuff we're talking about still, Zoom, Google Hangouts, any kind of video messaging thing. But they're also having to use tools like because you need to, if you're doing education, you need to share documents. So people are using things like Google Docs. I guess probably you could do it. Slack might be a bit complicated for a lot of people. I don't know. I guess you could use Trello or something like that. But Google Docs is an important one. I'm sure that in any case, a lot of universities, for example, already would have used Google Docs or Dropbox, something like that.
Yeah.
To share documents.
I think it depends also where the kids are.
Using a combination of things like, true. Yeah, of course. It depends what kind of access to technology they have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's in all. Sorry. Yeah,
no, ahead. Sorry. I'm a little bit late, I think.
Yeah, that's all right.
So I have like 2 apps that I found online from someone who recommended them, who's teaching online. So there's a app called Flipgrid, and it's like an app that students can use to upload videos as a response, like a homework basically, and then also quizzes with like I double set at the end. And it's like an assessment tool and evaluation tool where teachers can basically put assessments and tests online that students can take online. So I found that really helpful. But then I was also wondering, not everyone, especially in countries like Thailand, but also in America, also in other countries, not everyone is going to have access to a laptop, not phones necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
And so I actually read a thread and I thought it was really, really helpful to know. There was a parent in America and who basically said, like, what are you people going to do if you don't have like internet access and if you don't have access to laptops, whatever. And so she said, well, when you signed up at the beginning of the school year, you have to give your phone number and your email address and everything, right? And so right now, at least in her school, that's just one out of how many ever in the US, but so in her environment, and there's a lot of people and a lot of kids didn't have access. in her district, the internet access was free from the provider. So the internet provider gave free access to all of the students.
Right.
And she would use the phone and get actually text messages from the teachers with the homework and basically the topics that the kids should be going through on a weekly basis, and then she would be able to go through the books with the kids herself. But I think it's really this is going to be really challenging if you don't have access to internet, right? And I think people like you and me, we don't think about it. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't luckily have to think about homeschooling, but
Right. Yeah. Obviously, the amount of variation around the world is, and even within a single country, depending on wealth. Let's face it, like wealth, economic circumstances, social economic circumstances, just going to be vast. So you can imagine that in some places, teachers are still going to be able to maintain online classes. In other cases, parents who do have access to, and I've been listening to people talking in their podcast that they're homeschooling their kids. And I'll come back to that in a minute, actually. And in other cases, there won't be very much going on at all, and parents maybe won't have the means to do homeschooling. I mean, in actual fact, I believe that anybody could do homeschooling if they had some training or some time to prepare, or had let's say did a workshop or some course was provided. But like if something like this has happened and there's been no time to put any of that in place, then it would be impossible for many. And also, we don't know how many circumstances that parents are, still working, because there's many sectors of the economy still where people are still working, but kids are at home. So I can only imagine that there must be around the world like so many kids right now who are not learning.
mm-hmm.
However, a lot of so I've been listening to teachers teachers at university level and high school level talking on podcasts, and they've been saying that one thing that the world is learning now is the core subjects, the real core subjects that are most important to students, sort of maths, some science subjects, English, these kind of things, they can be done in a very short time compared to the amount of time that children spend in a school day.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe this when I heard this, but this was a teacher saying this, that the core subjects could be compressed into 90 minutes a day, and the rest of it was, I don't want to say completely superfluous, but and that's what many homeschool parents who are teaching homeschool at home are finding, is really they can squash the whole thing into 90 minutes. It doesn't help them in other ways, like they still have to take it, looking after the kids all day long when they may still have jobs to do, may not. But I think maybe that the world is going to take a relook at education after this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Definitely,
absolutely.
really.
Yeah.
It might change things permanently.
I hope so. Also, especially, and we chatted a little bit about it before, but especially about how kids are treated in school and how learning styles and everything are going to be considered later on. That's for sure. Yeah. There is, for those who actually have access to internet and maybe a laptop or an iPad or whatever, there now, if you're a kid who is often bored from the core the core teachings at school, and you just want to learn something new, or if you're a parent and you want to learn something new, there are actually free online courses from like Harvard and Yale and everything. They put all these courses out for free now, and you can just do it yourself. So you just don't get a certificate. You have to pay for the certificate, but you can do the courses, and it's amazing. So one of the pages is edx.org. But if you just Google free online course, Harvard, for example, you can also find it at harvard.edu, so the official Harvard page, for example. But the one that I shared with you, it's they collect a lot of free online courses from all of the different big universities.
We'll share a bunch of links to the show down below. Actually, one I really wanted to plug because I heard Laurie Santos, as I mentioned her earlier. She teaches a course called The Science of Wellbeing at Yale University. It's the most popular course in Yale's history. And I listened to her, and she was like such a fascinating, like enthusiastic, nice person. And her course, as I said, it's the most popular ever, and that's been made free online now. Yeah. And it's literally how to be happy.
Right.
And it's not, and everything is not what you expect. Nothing is what you expect in that course.
I had a few friends who took it already, and they said it's like one of the best courses they've ever done.
Right.
I think it should be also on the website maybe too.
It will be, yeah, it will be, but maybe we'll link to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, I think we've talked for quite a while. Maybe we should just do our top three and then quit, shall we? What do you think?
Yes, we're about 45 minutes in now.
Okay, cool.
So what are your top three? Maybe we do one fun, one work, one education.
Fun, work, education. Oh. All right. Fun, work, education. Well, let me do the work one. For me, let's just say, what have I? Just one. Huh.
One for each.
Well, okay. I'm gonna have to go with Audacity for the work one. I've been the audio part of our show, which goes out on 93.25 FM Radio Thailand Chiang Mai, where we normally broadcast Relax Time Radio, and on all the radio apps. I've been putting together using Audacity, and I've done that so that I can combine the audio from Zoom and these terrible microphones, which is not the best in the world, but I can combine that with some jingles and high quality song music, so that at least the songs go out in good quality over the air. And Audacity is a free software. I know it's on, I think it's for Mac, for Windows, for everything. Yeah. And I think it's just for computers. I don't think it's on phones. Anyway, it's a great audio editor, and it's free. So I love that. Okay. Do you want to go?
That was work. What's fun and what's education?
Oh, okay. I'm doing all mine first. Fun. Fun. I would have to go with I think what I mentioned last time, which is well, it combines fun and education, to be honest, which is Google Earth.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, Google Earth, you can explore archaeological sites, and many of those archaeological sites, when you sort of like, you're allowed, it's like the Google Street View part of Google Earth. You can walk into and explore Egyptian temples, underwater sites, and they have like these info things that you can click up so you can see the sort of like tour as if you had a tour guide. I'm the kind of person that can get lost in there for quite a while. It's fun and educational as well. Then educational. Well, sounds like I'm not doing anything educational, but I'm just reading a lot of stuff. Let me think. That's hard. Educational. I guess. I have used. I actually have used in the past Khan Academy.
Oh, cool.
Have you heard of the Khan Academy?
I'm not quite sure, honestly.
It's a really incredible organization, sort of that is basically, it's education for students. It's free. It's online, and it's sort of what you would call gamified. So they've made it into a game. So you basically, you can learn all of the things that an education system is supposed to teach you The courses include, everything's on there, everything from kindergarten, all of the normal school syllabus. You can learn algebra, you can learn any kind of maths, any kind of science, biology, physics, chemistry. You can learn world history, geography, finance, economics, computer programming. You can take any of these courses, and it takes you through like a game process. So you earn points for understanding. It's not like you have a big test at the end.
Yeah.
You do some kind of learning module, and then you have like a mini test, but the test is like a game, you know. It's not, none of it's stressful. And you sort of get to progress. You get to progress. And so it's like going through a game. You want to complete the levels. I think it's funded by, you know, charitable organizations. Yeah, you can, people, it's donation supported. It was set up by this amazing guy to allow people to learn from around the world. So Khan Academy is incredible. I actually heard Laurie Santos talking about it. KHAN academy.org.
Cool.
Really, really fantastic. And there are others actually as well, like Udacity and other online sort of learning systems. But I think Khan Academy is maybe my favorite.
I love it.
It's got sections for learners, for teachers, for parents. Basically, if you were a parent and you had access to the internet but nothing else, and you didn't feel you were able to homeschool your children, you could put them on Khan Academy. They could learn anything on here. Yeah.
Right.
And have fun.
And I can see they support different countries, but it's only, you can change the language, but I think it's based on Google Translate, is it?
It won't all, there's a lot of different languages. It won't all be, no, I mean, I can't guarantee that there's not some Google Translate in there, but no, this is like huge. It's a huge sort of charitable venture. So it won't just be in English. It's on iOS and Android. So a lot of people around the world will have phones, but not computers.
Yeah. Love it.
It's the best that I know of in terms of online education. And as I said, it's really learner orientated in the sense that you learn, you can have like a personal course for you. There's no emphasis to learn at a specific rate. Yeah, it's amazing how, like, so it can identify certain things that learners in schools often miss. So what they found that one of the things that the school system often fails to notice is children zone out of a subject when they've missed some very fundamental part. It happens most often in things like maths, but also in English. So you miss early on in your school education, you miss some incredibly fundamental skill, and then you feel bad as a kid when you haven't learned that. And so you just drop out of the subject, and you consistently fail at it, and it can affect your whole life. With something like Khan Academy, that doesn't happen because it sort of like lets you learn other things, but it doesn't really let you kind of progress to the next level of the game, so to speak, until you can do this really fundamental thing.
Right.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. That sounds really, really cool.
Okay, that's my 3.
Cool. All right. So work for me. Let me start actually with education, because I think right now for me it's just that. So education for me, there is an app that's called Headway, but you can also use Blinkist. And basically, the free version, I think, lets you read 2 books or 5 books a month or something. But what it does, it's called Headway or Blinkist. They're both kind of the same. And what it does, it gives you basically the summary of a book that you can either read or you can listen to it. And it gives you the best outcomes of the book. And you can also get it as like learning cards, so you can repeat it. So because I'm reading a lot and not reading physical books because of my traveling and whatever, but I listen to audiobooks on Audible, but it's just getting incredibly a lot. And so there are books I really want to know what's in there, but I don't want to read them fully. But this was amazing for me to have this app. And I have already like 50 books in there, and it's literally just 15 minutes per book. So instead of like 12 hours, I have one book in 15 minutes.
Oh, I've heard about this, but it didn't ring up like it. Blinkist, yeah, I heard about Blinkist. Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
competitor, it's called Headway, but actually they're kind of both same. And yeah, it doesn't really matter.
I think I
And
heard, sorry, I
yeah,
think I heard Joe Rogan talking about,
yeah.
sometimes he doesn't have time to read all of his guest book. He'd be using this.
For real though, it's like if you would see my Audible list, you're like, holy cow, when do you have time for that? I'm like, well, I shower 2-3 times a day, especially when it's 40 degrees. Yeah, so that's my education one. So for fun, I guess, well, it depends what you do for fun, but I do a lot of things for fun that has to do with education because I'm a nerd.
Okay.
So what would I do for fun? Oh wait, so okay, because I'm dancing ballet, I have an app that I signed up to, and it's called Lazy Dancer. And she has a lot of YouTube videos, but basically in this app is really easy to just find the course and watch the videos and whatever. There are a lot of different apps like this, but this one was the most suitable for me because she's a ballet dancer for many years and a ballet teacher, and because I try to get back. So the fun part for me is to kind of dance with this app. And so work, well, I do work online all the freaking time. So what's my favorite? I guess I would have to say probably what's gonna make my life the easiest? I actually have to say Trello probably. Trello, because it's you can do so much with the free version. I use it as I use it for my team to work with me. I use it for my clients. I organize myself with it. I have all of my podcast information in there, whom I had on the show, all the graphics, everything. I do everything with it. If someone wants to work with me and collaborate, I forced them onto Trello to be organized, and it's really incredible. And you can do so many things. They have templates, and it's so. I think Trello is probably the one that I would choose.
Yeah, I've used Trello. It's great. It's a bit less intimidating than Slack. Slack can be Slack's powerful, but a little bit overwhelming at first.
Yeah. And I think
again,
Asana, if you use Asana, for example, a lot of people, the learning curve is so big. A lot of people look at it and they're like, oh, damn, I don't know where to start, what to do, where to find things. And in Trello, it's just really visual, and you can drag drop around. You can, it's just there. Right. You don't need to learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay, wonderful. I think we've talked enough. We weren't exhaustive in our review of apps and technology for for staying at home and still working, having fun, and learning. But we covered quite a bit. I think more than enough. Thanks for joining us.
And maybe next time we speak about conspiracy therapy.
Conspiracy therapy. Now that one I like, not conspiracy theory. I'm interested in conspiracy therapy.
How do you do therapy for a conspiracy theorist? Oh my God, this is a tongue breaker. Just kidding.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. You've been listening to Mon and I do our sort of life hacks show on Relax Time Radio, which is broadcast on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai. Radio Thailand Chiang Mai, not Radio Thailand Chiang Mai, Relax Time Radio is still going 7 nights a week, 7:30 to 9 p.m. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
See you, everyone.